I'm actually a public speaker. I speak all over the nation on men's mental health, and I speak to our military bases. I spent 2 weeks in Alaska in December. I just got back from San Diego speaking to the Navy. I speak on specifically suicide in our military, suicide prevention in our military. Yeah.
So what made you do the grief about this book?
Well, I have actually lost in the last 47 years 3 siblings to cancer, 3 of my 4 children. My parents lived to be really a long life, 89 and 91. Lost my best friend of 31 years and lost my 20-year-old son to suicide in 2016. So in 47 years, I say I've taken a master class in grief and loss. Yeah.
So what's this book about then? What are you talking about?
It's my personal journey, my 47-year-long journey of grief. And one of the things that I think is, grief speaks a universal language. At one time or another, if we live long enough, we're going to lose somebody that we love. And what I've learned through the 47 years of losing children, my parents, my best friend, my son, is that we can't fast forward through grief. Our culture wants us to do everything quickly. And unfortunately, our culture is very uncomfortable with us being in grief. People don't want to sit with us in our grief. And what I've learned is through the past 47 years, I started grieving when I was 16 years old. Found out that I was losing my brother to a brain tumor. He died when I was 21. And so grief has really been, as I say, my hardest teacher, but it's taught me things that I can't learn anywhere else. So one of the things I think when we allow ourselves to really go through grief, and we don't push it down like a ball underwater, when we actually allow ourselves to go through the grief and feel the grief, on the other side what comes out is what we call now post-traumatic growth. And that's what's happened in my life. So since we lost our son in 2016, I've had the opportunity to speak all over the United States to our military. I speak on young men's mental health, and I have been blessed enough that my work has been picked up by the Pentagon. I speak about the correlation between soldier suicide and the breakup of personal relationships, because right now in our nation, our leading cause of suicide in our military is death by personal firearm, suicide by personal firearm, and the catalyst for that is the breakup of personal relationships. So I give a strong message of hope, and we talk about the brain and the impulsivity and how to hold on when those hard moments come. So my post-traumatic growth has come from really spreading a message of hope and really teaching young people how to hold on and giving them skills and tools that they need when those hard moments in life come.
So how many books have you written?
This is my first book, and I already am thinking about my second one, because the work that I do, I've met so many wonderful people who are survivors of suicide loss, people who've gone through years of taking care of a loved one with either cancer or Alzheimer's or dementia, and I've learned so much from those people. And so what I'd like to do in my second book, I like to write about their stories and people who have used their post-traumatic growth to do something with their pain. We call it, taking your pain and turning it into purpose. So for us, my husband and I established a scholarship fund. We've given away 6 college scholarships in our son's name. In the county where we were raised, we have the only mental health scholarship in that county. So we encourage young people to go into a mental health related field. And so that's one of the things that we have done. I was able to help our community mental health center, which was Oak Lawn up in Elkhart County, raise approximately a little over $100,000 to put programs in schools called Sources of Strength, which teaches resiliency through 8 protective factors in young people. So we are really using our story to try to help other people. And I think one of the things that I know, one of my favorite quotes is by Viola Davis, and it says, they say to love is to serve, but I think to serve is to heal. So I think when we take our story and we use it, I think what happens is we don't realize it over time, it heals our grief and our hearts.
So you're originally from Fort Wayne.
I am. I grew up.
How's it feel being here?
It feels great. The Grief Center has a special place in my heart. So they took care of my mom and dad here at Stillwater for 27 months, both of them combined. But we have 4 decades with this place. So originally my 34-year-old brother, who died back in 1980, was cared for by hospice here. So we actually have gone through 4 decades. They took care of my mom, my dad, and then we actually donated, after my mom died, a room upstairs is in memory of my mom and dad. Little did I know, 2 years later, I'd be receiving grief counseling in the room named after my mom and dad when we lost our son.
Wow. So it looks like a good turnout
Yes.
today, too. A lot of people.
Yeah.
How's it feel seeing?
It's great. It's great. And we're really hoping that we can just form some connection here. And as people are coming in, what I say, and I sign all my books, never grieve alone, because grief, once again, is something that's going to probably impact all of us at one point or another in our lives. And what we want to make sure is that they know in this community there's a place to come for support, and there's a place to come where you're going to be heard and seen, and people are going to let you process your grief and not rush you through your grief. And that's the way that our country needs to become comfortable with sitting with people who are grieving. And that's what we're trying to teach here.
Okay. Nothing else you want to add or anything?
I would just say, let's just make sure that we know that when we feel like we have no one to turn to, and when we feel like we are all alone in this world, that's the time when you really, really need to connect with somebody, because in that connection is where you can spark that hope, and that's going to give you a reason to be here tomorrow. So I really want to make sure that people know that there's power in connecting with one person. And my goal here today is that anyone who's grieving and feels they're all alone will meet someone here today that's also on their grief journey, and together they're going to go through it and they're going to heal together.
Great. Great. Thank you. Nice meeting you.